Peck, editor-at-large for Inside Unmanned Systems, and we're here with John Goodson, CEO, of Darkhive, who have been sponsoring events here at Exponential and have several good new products that we want to talk about. But tell us about you and your company.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for me, background in special operations. I did about a decade in the Navy as a combat technician supporting the West Coast SEAL teams, and got out in 2016. I've been working in the defense technology space ever since, and started Darkhive in 2021, and I've been playing in the uncrewed system space ever since.
So it's quite the playground.
There you go. That's right. It absolutely is.
And you're based in San Antonio?
That's right. We're in San Antonio, Texas, about 50 people strong, and 2 facilities there now.
Oh, great. So. Okay. So you have a somewhat varied product line. Maybe we'll march through them. So first one's Yellow Jacket. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, confined space exploration drone. I mean, I think for this community very specifically, think about what the DJI Avata is typically used for. We're just trying to provide an NDAA compliant solution that tackles those same mission sets at a similar price point.
We probably should have brought it over. It's this big. It's the smallest quadcopter I've seen. Yeah. And there's a battery that goes along it.
Yeah, exactly.
And tell us about some of the capabilities.
Yeah, we have a thermal camera, a nice EOIR package baked in. It has leverages a software stack that provides visual inertial odometry-based position hold, so you can take your fingers off the sticks and let that thing, hover in place when you're not necessarily actively piloting it. You can actually physically grab it and turn it 45 degrees. It's going to turn off the motors and whatnot, so that you can easily physically manipulate it without worrying about catching your fingers on props and things like that.
And it can go in spaces where a soldier can't go.
Yeah, precisely. Same idea. Why expose yourself or someone on your team to harm when you can send a robot in to do the job first?
Okay, then we have Obelisk. So recon?
Yeah, reconnaissance drone, and similar again. I always like to compare it to all the products that have been developed by DJI. I mean, because they make some of the best products in the world, and we're just trying again to provide some NDAA compliant solutions to backfill those for customers who are interested in that.
Right.
And so this is very comparable in terms of performance and sensing package to the Mavic 3T. So I have a thermal camera, a nice high resolution primary camera, but we also add the ability on top of that with some of our integration partners to have a terrain relative navigation solution that gets you that ability to get where you need to go, to capture information that you're interested in when GPS and communications are being degraded or denied.
I noticed at the panel you moderated yesterday that you did mention DJI, and I think that's right to acknowledge what they do while saying why they can't do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that I always come back around to is understandably the U.S. and our allies, particularly in the military and public safety space, need to be looking for alternatives for a lot of reasons that are very well documented. But at the same time, it does a great disservice and misrepresents what an incredible company they are, what great products they develop, to simply just kind of lump them into a generally negative category.
Right.
It's like, no, they build incredible products.
Great. Well, speaking of one of your products, Red Queen.
Yes. So one of the things that we did quite a bit at my last company was working with the Team Awareness Kit, TAC. And just for anyone who hasn't seen that before, it's a open government-owned software solution, supports a variety of program offices across the Department of Defense, as well as a lot of our international partners. Public safety are huge users of it as well. But one of the things that we kind of brought over with us to Darkhive, understanding that was the situational awareness mapping application for so many of the folks that we wanted to support, we wanted to enable users to interact more naturally with a lot of the data that was available there. Not just necessarily being able to provide verbal commands and tasking to drones, but also all the other capabilities that are present in TAC for tracking friendly forces, hostile forces, being able to quickly measure points between distances, other things like that are common workflows that often require you to go heads down into the Android end user device. We wanted to make that easy and seamless.
Right, and that's the one that you can talk to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One of your colleagues was showing. It's pretty amazing. Give it coordinates and it shows up on the map. And,
exactly. Interact naturally via language the same way you would with any other teammate.
And he told me that it came about because guys in Alaska, literally couldn't had mittens on. They couldn't use their phones.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have the luxury of being able to even take the phone outside of kind of the multiple layers of clothing they have to wear up there, because if they do, it is so cold in some of their operating environments that the phone will cease to function. So they have a very limited and a very constrained environment where these things need to work. And so that absolutely was our initial target.
You have to go where the requirement is, right?
Exactly, precisely.
And the final product is Fleet Forge?
Yep, Fleet Forge. So the last thing that we really kind of looked at as we were just kind of absorbing the incredible amount of learning that was coming out of Ukraine, one of the things that we found very quickly was that rapid adaptation of these vehicles in field, not only from a physical frame design, from a hardware perspective, but from a software perspective, was incredibly important. And so we wanted to provide a tool within the operating constraints of the Department of Defense and a lot of our partners who are very concerned about the security of software that is being deployed to drones, ensuring that there have been appropriate security scans on everything that is actually going to sit on the drone, whether it's the autopilot, object detection models, computer vision aided navigation solutions, whatever it is. If it runs on the drone, you need to have some way to verify that that software is secure. And then from there, in verifying the security of it, you need the ability to get that not to just one drone at a time, but to hundreds of thousands of drones at the same time.
And that's the fleet part.
And that's exactly it. So it really comes in two parts. There is a fleet management dashboard, which is just like a standard mobile device management, IoT fleet management user interface. But then there's the other element of it, which is really kind of the continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline that we developed that gives you that accredited artifact out of the basically out of the build pipeline that can then be deployed out to all of your systems.
Great. And just a couple more questions. So, I mean, what do you see as the trends that you hope to capitalize on, say, in the next year or two?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big things are looking at human-machine teaming and how we enable the average user to interact with so many of these systems, whether they be ours or all of the other incredible products that are out here at Exponential this week. How do we make this something that an 18-year-old kid that just came out of boot camp, barely learned how to do fundamentals in moving, shooting, and communicating, how do we enable that person to access these kinds of systems in a way that's intuitive? Because that's where we have to get. That is the pace this industry is moving at, and we have to be able to kind of deliver a solution that enables that ease of adoption.
And they're probably past the Grand Theft Auto generation, the Minecraft generation now.
Yeah, I mean, Ron, everybody's on. I mean, these are folks who came up never knowing a world without a smartphone.
Absolutely.
And how are we enabling them to be able to use these things successfully?
Right. And just one last question. What do you hope to get out of Exponential?
Always good to see a lot of friendly faces, and connect with a lot of our partners from around the world, whether they be industry, government. That's really what this is. I mean, it's an incredible event with a convergence of industry, academia, and government institutions.
Great.
And I mean, there's nothing like it.
Super. On that note, anything to add, or we done? We done.
All right. That was great.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.